everyone. First, let me ask you a few questions. Have you ever seen a slum? Hmm. Have you ever been to a slum? Or let's say, have you ever spent a day, or maybe half a day? Day's taking it too much. Half a day in the slums. Because if you have, then you should know. There are people there. There are children there. Do you think the slum is a place appropriate for anyone to live in? Especially children. I mean, let's compare an adult's immune system and a children's immune system. One adult could equal, I don't know, 5 children. One child cannot equal to one adult. My name is Krill Nikolai. I represent everyone in the world, especially the children who live in the slums. Do you know why? Those children are suffering. They can't even live a life worth living. They can't even live a life where they find water, clean water, from just a drainage pipe. Did you know that children all across the world only occupy 20% of the world population? Well, you may think that's not much, because the world population is 7.7 billion. Let me translate that 20% to you. 20% of 7.7 billion is 1,450,000,000. That's a lot of children. Let's translate that 20% into 100%. From that 100%, only 60% are unfortunate. Got you there, didn't I? That 40% are the only fortunate ones to live in a house, sleep in a comfy bed, and sleep soundless nights. That 60%, they're living out there, somewhere in the world. Most of them in the slums. Now let's count that 60%. That is exactly 980 million. That's still a lot. I mean, from the 1 billion, that didn't go down very much. Now, let's recall a little bit. Have you ever seen a parent who would let their child just wander off from their house without a guardian? Because I bet you have not seen any parent like that before. Do you know that these children in the slums, they don't even need to get out of their house for them to be in trouble, for them to be endangered? They're already living in a chaotic world, in a world of disaster. Slums, people. Slums are a dangerous place. Do you know what a slum is? Well, let me ask you another question. Do you know what a landfill is? A landfill is where we throw our trash. It's called a landfill if there's no one in there. It's called a slum when someone moves in and lives in a landfill. Do you know how much trash that is? Do you know how dirty that is? All those chemicals, all those germs, just a hint of it could kill an average person. I don't even know how they're surviving. Well, let me share you a story. Well, about myself, of course. 10 years ago? No, 9 years ago. I was 7 years old. My family and I went out on vacation to Manila. We stopped at a gas station that was near a slum. Our car was air conditioned. It smelled very lovely. It smelled wonderful. I got out of the car, took a sniff of the air. I puked. Do you know what puke means? That's like vomiting a lot. It felt like vomiting your own guts out of your chest. Then I read a sign, 2 kilometers away from the slums. Think at that distance. I was 7 years old. I just took a sniff and then I puked. from 2 kilometers away from the source. How in the world could anyone survive from the source itself? I mean, those children, maybe younger than me, was 7 years old. 6 year olds, 5 year olds, 4 year olds, children who could walk. Those children could survive at the very source of something so smelly that a 7 year old from 2 kilometers away would puke. Do you know the difference between an adult's and a child's immune system? I mean, they're very great. I just said a while ago, one adult is 5 children. That is impossible for one child, I mean, rather, to endure that much. Now, through all times that I've read books, that I've read history books, storybooks, fairy tales, I've always read a line there. Protect the children! They are our future. Do you think that you have a bright future with how you treat the children nowadays? I mean, adults say they care about children. Children would be right there, loved. That's just 40%. Children would be right here, and an adult would just pass through and, no, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Huh? There are a lot of adults like that. What is happening to our world? I mean, from history itself, they say protect them, help them. That's not right. That's just not right. Let me give you another story. I just finished high school. No, junior high school. I'm in my senior years now. When I was still a kid, I would trip over. My mom would rush to me, take me to the bathroom, and wash my wounds. Nowadays, I don't even see a parent who would lift their finger from their phone to help their child who fell from the stairs. Or they would lift one finger and say, come here, it's alright, I'll help you. Do you think that's right? Because it's wrong. There's something missing. I mean, we're humans, right? We're not animals. Well, let me compare that properly. Animals help each other. Why can't we, humans, people, humans are a being of higher intellect, higher understanding than animals. Why can't we instinctively help others? Like it's natural. We have to think. Why do we have to think to help? I mean, it's just not right. The adults say they want a bright future. Let me share you another story. I'm 16 years old. I am the eldest of 3 siblings with an unstable family. My parents talked to me. They said, when you grow up, my son, you have to help us feed your siblings. Some would say that's great parenting. Look at it from my perspective. For those who have understood, then thank you for understanding. Listen to his words, to my dad's words. My son, you have to help us when you grow older. Help us feed your siblings. Here's the thing. They're not asking. They're telling me to help them straight away. Is that really good parenting? Because personally, a child should live his life as a child to the fullest. I mean, that's less than 20 years. Hmm? An adult could live for more than 30 years. In an adult lifetime, 30 years is just a short time. They could live for, I don't know, 50 years. 18 years. That's all the child has to live itself as a natural child. After that, they have all of those responsibilities. What we want is to get our rights. Because we have the right to spend time for ourselves. We have the right to be free, even just the littlest bit, while we're still children. Did you know that every child has 12 rights? Let me example another one. For these kids in the slums, they don't get clean environment. They don't get clean water. They don't get proper food and proper shelter. Do you know what right that violates? The right to clean air, clean water, proper food, and proper shelter. The four basic needs of anyone, anywhere to live. These kids from the slums are suffering to live life. They can't even find clean water. And what am I doing here? I'm right here, sitting pretty, taking this, talking to you. I just want to reach out because I myself am just a child. I still can't do anything. I can only do this and hope that other people will react. I have a request to anyone who's listening, to anyone who's watching. I request that you stand up, pause the video, go out of the house, go to the city if you can, take a walk, look around. Tell me if you don't find a child begging for change, pocket change, the corners of the street. If you can't find, then I want to know where you live. That must be a great place, because there's no child or children that's suffering. But I beg to differ. I don't think there's such a place. If you do find, let me ask you another question. What can you do to help? Can you really stand up, go out and help someone? Can you go out of your way to help a child that is suffering? Will you move from your position right now and do something that will change the world, no matter how small that is? I'm just a child. I'm just someone who could represent in a form of a video. I am right here. I represent all of the children in the world. What we want, what we need, is for you to stand up. Open your eyes. Look at us. Look at the world. We want you to change for us. That is no easy task. That is more sacrifice than you already are sacrificing for us. But if you really want to depend on us for the future that you want, for the future that you yearn for, then we, all of us, are depending on you, all of you, for our present. That will be the greatest gift for us. Thank you.